Welcome to horror heaven. Horror heaven!
Hey guys, welcome back to the Horror Heaven Jeff channel. Today we are going to do one of the most infamous movies in horror history. We are going to jump right into Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. Before you go any further into this video, this is a movie that was made in 1986 and it was not released until 1990 because they spent 3.5 years making cuts and making edits, trying to get this video to the point where it would get an R rating. And then finally the ratings board told them basically no amount of cuts is going to get this an R rating. And this is one of the few movies that legitimately had what we now call the NC-17 rating. Back then, I believe it was literally just X. It was released out with an X rating. If you weren't 18, you could not see it no matter what you did, no matter who you went with, all that stuff. And you're about to find out why. It is exactly the definition of extreme horror. All right, here we go. So before we even get into it, let's jump into the trailer, which is honestly kind of a very subdued trailer. I think whenever you see it here, you're going to see, you know, everyone kind of went into this expecting all this insanity in a trailer, but you can only put what you can put in a trailer. Otherwise, no one's going to play it, and then it doesn't really help anybody out. So let's check out the trailer now, and you'll see that it's pretty subdued compared to what's going to be in this movie.
Did you really kill your mama?
I guess I did. You telling me you never killed anybody before?
I ain't saying that.
What do you got in mind, Henry?
What do you think? What do you say, Otis? You want to go grab a beer?
If you shoot somebody in the head with a .45 every time you kill somebody, it becomes like your fingerprint, see? But if you strangle one and stab another, and when you cut up, when you don't, then the police don't know what to do.
You guys need any help? Do you need some help, or can you do it yourself?
Must mean you go for a ride, Otis. It's always the same, and it's always different. Ain't that right?
Sure, it's good to talk to you, Henry. You're not judgmental or anything like that.
Open your eyes, Otis. Look at the world. It's either you or them.
Did I stutter? Give me the $50 and get out!
Don't do that, Otis. She's your sister. Otis, plug it in.
All right, so the general idea behind this movie from director John McNaughton is he wanted to make something based on a serial killer, but not really over-glorify it or anything like that. He wanted it to be almost like a documentary is really what it feels like. That's probably this. If you ask me what's the most unsettling thing about the movie, it's probably going to be that fact. It feels like you're watching a documentary, like you are a fly on the wall watching the things that these three people are doing in their daily lives, and the cameraman's just there. It's very, very unsettling in that way. It feels very real. You know what I mean? When you see like Monster with Charlize Theron in it about Eileen Wuornos, it's obviously a Hollywood, you know, production, all the different versions of the Manson family, it's the same thing. This feels very real, very gritty, and it was shot on a very minuscule budget. And even with the X rating at its time of release, I believe it actually profited like $600,000 on its theatrical run, which is a huge amount for a very small budgeted movie. All right, now before we even get into the movie, let's talk a little bit about the cast. So we have Tracy Arnold, who plays Becky. She is one of the main characters, Otis. She is his younger sister, and she basically ends up becoming the love interest of Henry. You can see she's liking Henry, Henry's liking her. Everyone's got a ton of baggage, and they just kind of fit. And then we have Tom Tolles, who is just a great character actor. He pops up in a ton of stuff almost every TV show you can think of in the 80s. Probably his best known thing aside from this movie would have been him being Sheriff Wydell in House of a Thousand Corpses, not Devil's Rejects. William Forsythe's character in Devil's Rejects is his brother trying to avenge his death. But in the first movie, the sheriff is Tom Tolles. And then we have our leading man, the star of the movie, one of the best actors out there, Michael Rooker. Everyone knows him now from being Merle on The Walking Dead. Cool character. They know him from the James Gunn movies where he whistles and the arrow follows him and all that stuff. Cool character, funny, the kids love him. He was even the villain in, I think it was Days of Thunder, which was a cool character too. Everything he does, he usually hits out of the park. But this is definitely his opus. He is so good in this movie, it's unbelievable. He's cold, he's quiet, he's well-spoken. He's what you wouldn't expect a psychopath to be. You expect him to be raving lunatic and all that, and he's crazy. He's crazy as hell, but he's cold about it. He's calculated. He knows what he's doing. And that, again, makes everything very unsettling. It feels very real because not too often are the crazies walking down the middle of the street swinging a machete above their head screaming. They're the quiet one in the corner, the one you don't even notice. Okay, guys, so like we said, John McNaughton says in the director's commentary on the DVD, he wanted to make something very real, a real serial killer movie. And he based this all very loosely, but close enough, on Henry Lee Lucas and Otis Toole. In this movie, they call him Otis, but in a lot of the court, videos I've seen the people in the prosecution call him Otis. Who cares? Both complete pieces of shit. Ruined countless lives. Henry Lee Lucas was convicted of 11 murders. He claimed to have done over 100, but after a while, everyone started realizing he was lying. He was telling them there was bodies places that there weren't, because whenever he did that, he got to go on a field trip from the prison to try to find the bodies and stuff, so he just used it as an excuse to get out. And Otis Toole, we have no idea how many he killed. He never admitted to any, aside from Adam Walsh, who is, John Walsh's son, who always did the America's Most Wanted. His son was taken by Otis Toole, and it's a terrible thing. They were both horrible human beings. And like I say a bunch of times on this channel, and anytime we cover this kind of subject, no such thing as a cool serial killer, no such thing as your favorite serial killer, any of that stuff. They're all trash. They all deserve to be in hell, which is where they're at now. Okay, so into the actual movie here. So the movie opens with a really, really cool scene that kind of helps set the tone. We're seeing, little short cuts of them going through, the 70s kind of scape. And every time they go past something, you just see a dead body laying face down in the trash, on the side of the road, whatever it would be. You would see this dead body, and then you would hear almost like you're listening to the attack on the radio. You would hear them fighting somebody off. You would hear somebody taking them down, bum, 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 bum. You get a couple of those, and it's just kind of neat. It's a neat thing to do where they don't have to show anything graphic, but it gets the point across. And then we start seeing Henry. Henry's just going through his life. Got this old beat-up car. He's a very unassuming looking person. If you just saw him walking down the street, you wouldn't look twice at him. You definitely wouldn't be scared of him. And then we see him, I believe in the beginning is where he picks up the girl with the big guitar case. And she gets in the car with him, and they drive off ominously. We don't see her get attacked, but we can pretty much infer what happens to her, because in the very next scene, it shows Henry come home, and Otis is sitting there with his sister, and boom, he puts up the guitar case up on the thing and says, "Hey, look what I got us, guys." And then we get to know Becky and Otis a little bit. We see Becky as a very damaged little girl. In this movie, I believe they portray her as being like in her early 20s. In real life, she was not Otis Toole's sister. She was Otis Toole's niece, and she was only 12 when all this happened. So that, again, I'm not going to just do compare and contrast everything with reality and with the movie, but just for sake, because it will matter, the fact that she was only 12 years old when all this was happening. So slowly but surely, we see Henry, doing his job, going through life, and basically committing these murders left and right and getting away with it. And he starts to realize that Otis is someone who's very much like him in the sense of wanting to be a killer and all that stuff, but Otis is the exact opposite side of that coin. The way that Henry is calm and reserved and kind of really seems to plan out what he wants to do, he keeps it to himself. Otis is very much, the second he's thinking something, he says it. Hey, I want to kill them. Hey, do you want to kill them? Loud about it, and just, like I said, both crazy, but two sides of the exact same crazy coin. And then we just basically go through almost murder school, if you want to call it. Henry is going to teach Otis how to be a serial killer. He's showing him how to stalk the prey. He's telling him, whenever you kill them, use different, modes of doing it every time. He said if you shoot somebody with a .45 caliber every time, they're going to start calling you the 45 killer. They're going to realize these things are connected. What you want to do is you want to strangle this one. Then you want to stab this one. Then you want to hit this one with a car. Maybe you want to shoot that one. You want to attack different types of people. You want to attack them in different ways. You want to attack them in different places, so they're not sure if it's the same guy or if it's a bunch of just people being, animals. And then it's not going to be our best scene in the movie, but one scene I really want to focus on for a second is, I believe Otis goes to check in with his parole officer, and he leaves Becky and Henry alone. They're sitting at the kitchen table. She starts dealing out some cards. I think they're just playing poker or whatever, but she basically just comes right out and asks him, hey, I heard you killed your mama. And then he goes, what was that? She goes, I heard you killed your mama. He goes, yeah, I guess I did. And he tells her the story about why he did it, how he did it, and all that. And it's not overly graphic, it's not shocking, anything along those lines. It's just really well acted. You can see every little nuance in Rooker kind of changing as he's telling the story. His eyes are kind of darting back and forth, thinking about what he's going to say. You're not even sure if he's lying or if he's telling her the truth, but he looks almost pained when he's saying certain things. His muscles tense up when he talks about the bad stuff she did to him as a kid. And again, the big thing with this movie is believability. It's very believable right there watching him do that. It's really believable that this is the story. And again, Rooker just hits a home run. And again, we're seeing Otis and Henry going through their life, getting better at what they're doing, getting more cold at what they're doing, more calculated with what they're doing. And they're getting away with a lot. We're going to talk about a lot of the stuff coming up. But I mean, there is graphic kills galore. Every trigger thing you could possibly think of is in there, and we're going to see what they let me show on YouTube, God forbid. But I'm going to do some edits and try to cut some stuff down so we can get some clips back in here. This is only video 21. I'm still very much trying to learn what I can and can't have on here. And every time I read the rules, it doesn't make any sense to me because I try to use clips that I see already on YouTube, and somehow they get blocked from me. But that's neither here nor there. And a little bit more in the movie towards the end, we're starting to realize Henry and Becky are falling in love. Otis is watching it happen, making his snide little comments and all the stuff you shouldn't be saying about your sister. He's saying it, but it's just him kind of being a prick. And then at one point, they're drinking some beer, and Otis says, go get me another beer. When she gets up, he smacks her on the butt and pulls her in and starts making out with her. Boom, Henry breaks it up right away. He's like, that's your sister, man. And that's when you really start seeing the line starting to get drawn between them. This is the second time Henry has stopped Otis from doing something sexual. Earlier in the movie, it was a dead body he was starting to feel up and get all into, and then Henry said, no, we can't, we gotta go. So Otis is starting to get a little bit mad at Henry, and this leads to a falling out between them. They get into a knockdown drag out fight, which again is done really well. It's just all very believable. It doesn't look like something with a lot of editing and special effects or anything. In fact, there's no special effects anywhere in the movie, really, aside from some practical makeup. And then, boom, he ends up killing Otis. And then we get a really gross scene where he beheads Otis. That scene. In the shower, and they drain most of his blood. And then we just see Henry and Becky loading his body up into things. It's now apparent she's helping him. And she's going to go with him. They're leaving. They know that this is not going to go unnoticed, and they're going to be the first people that are looked at. So at the end of the movie, we see them throw his body off a cliff, off a bridge down into some water, not a cliff. So they throw him down into this river, and we see them drive away. So the movie is very much open-ended. And it's weird because Becky's an innocent in the movie, but she's starting to kind of get corrupted a little bit. But in a strange way, it almost feels like a happy ending, which is crazy to say with everything that they did. But, the guy that was touching and doing stuff to Becky is now dead. Two people that thought they loved each other are together and leaving. So again, you're kind of almost feeling like, I think that was a happy ending, but God knows they didn't deserve one. is what it is. All right, guys, we're going to get back into this. Let's get into our best ofs. Our best acting in the movie, our three main characters were all awesome. And some of the even ancillary characters, you know, the victims, were really good because they look genuinely terrified. They look like they're fighting for their lives. Everybody in this movie does a great job. It comes off extremely real. It feels like you're watching a documentary. The best person in the movie is by far Michael Rooker. He's our leading man, gets the most screen time, so there's that. But the fact that he's intense, he's calm, he's cold, everything about him is very scary in a different kind of way. Like I said earlier, the crazy guy isn't always running down the street with a chainsaw over his head. Sometimes he's the quiet guy in the corner of the party, waiting to see who breaks off by themselves, and boom, they make their move. And that's really what he comes off like. He comes off as somebody who's unassuming, but you have to be a little bit scared of him. You're not terrified, but you definitely can see something's off with him. All right, now for our best scene. The best scene in the movie is also the most disturbing scene in the movie. Anything you ever read or you would see them talk about with the ratings society, the reason it was not going to get below an X or a quote-unquote NC-17 is the home invasion scene. So earlier in the movie, they go and they get a camcorder. This is one of the big ones from on your shoulder, you know what I mean, from the 80s, where you literally slid the whole VHS tape in and boom, you hit record, you were good to go. And they're making films as they're going around in the movie. You know, they film Becky dancing in the kitchen, having fun. They're actually out in a park, and they see two guys attacking another one, killing them, and they stay off to the side and film it just because they like watching it. Another scene that's kind of creepy. But then at one point, we see them driving around in this very nice suburban neighborhood, and they just stop at a house. Seems extremely random. There's no stalking being done, and they stage a home invasion here. And every trigger warning you ever thought of is about to come up, so do not listen to this part, and do not watch whenever I show the scene. Again, I'm going to try to show what I can, but if it gets flagged, it gets flagged. I'm sorry, guys. So it shows them in there laughing and doing what they're doing. Henry's manning the camera. Otis is touching the wife all over in every way imaginable as she's screaming and trying to fight back and everything. We look down on the floor and we see the husband's all bloody with a bag over his head, struggling to breathe, hands tied behind his back. It's rough to get through. It's not a long scene, but it's one you feel the entire way through. And it's just really crazy to see how much fun they're having doing it. And just when you think it really can't get any worse, the front door opens and the kid comes home. And Henry puts the camera down and attacks the kid. The kid loses the fight very quickly because the kid is a kid. And boom, they end the kid and make the mom watch as they do it. Then they end the mom. And then Henry pulls out a knife and ends the dad. And that's when we see Otis start pulling the mom's clothes off and touching her in ways that you shouldn't be touching anybody, let alone a body. And Henry says, no, we got to go. And Otis looks at him really angry. And this is the first time we really see a crack in the armor, between those two. Not sure how much of that scene made the cut, but if you watched it, yep, that's a rough one to get through for sure. So now to get to our best kill. Who would ever thought the best kill would be the lighthearted part compared to the best scene? But our best kill is whenever Otis and Henry go to buy a TV. TV they have in their house is just crapping out on them. They say, we need a TV, can't live without a TV. They go down this alleyway to a guy that Henry says he knows sells, stolen stuff. Open it up, guy's sitting there. How much you got to spend? What do you want? They go back and forth a little bit. The guy has little snide comments left and right, and then ultimately they decide they're just going to buy the cheapest TV he has. And then the guy really flips it into jag-off mode and just starts swearing at them and everything else, and they finally snap. And Henry takes a soldering iron that's plugged in and boom, shoves it right through the guy's hand. So you have the getting stabbed with the soldering iron while it's on, burning everything at the same time. And then Otis, boom, jumps on the guy. They wrap a cord around his neck, and Henry's in the front just going to town on him. Very violent, very sudden, and very aggressive kill. And then right towards the end, boom, they break the TV over his head, and he's bleeding all over the place. And then they plug it in, and boom, they fry him. just complete overkill, but it's one of those kills that definitely sticks with you. When you see it, you'll remember that one for a couple years because of the violence of it, and honestly, and because of what a dick the salesman is. The guy has a small amount of time on screen, and everybody remembers him because he was that big of a prick.
Can let you have the set over there for $50.
Well, turn it on. We want to see if it works.
What's the matter? Don't you trust me? Here, plug it in down there.
Here?
Yeah, down there, real good. I see you've had some college. Yeah, like you can see, it works real good. Just takes a while to warm up.
It's black and white.
Of course it's black and white. What do you expect for $50? Fucking 3D, for Christ's sake?
Well, how much is color? We want color.
You can't get color for $50.
That's okay. Let's see what you got.
What have I got? You want cable ready? You want remote control? You want UHF? You want 13-inch? You want 19-inch? I bet you'd like to have a 19-inch. You want Sony? You want Zenith? You want a Gold Star?
Oh, what can we get for 150?
Could let you have this set for 150. It's worth 300. But here, take a look at this. For an extra 75, you can take this $600 set.
What's this?
It's a camcorder.
What?
It's a videotape recorder and camera rolled into one. You just pop in a cassette and you're ready to go.
You can make your own movies with that?
What else would you do with it?
How much you want for it?
It's worth $1,000. I'd take half.
$500?
Yeah, half of $1,000 is $500.
That's a little more than we were planning to spend. I think we should just take the TV.
Okay, which one do you want?
The $50 one.
The $50 one. You guys come in here, I show you this, I show you that, and you creeps got a lousy $50 to spend. You should have stopped me a long time ago. Take the $50 set and get the hell out. I'm a busy man.
Well, we were really counting on a color set.
What's the matter? You got shit in your ears? The black and white is $50. Take it or leave it.
Sorry we wasted your time. Come on, Otis.
Don't give me story, you dumbass. Did I stutter? Give me the $50 and get out!
I'll give you... Otis, plug it in.
Right, guys, it is time to remind you to like and subscribe to this channel. Stick around at the end of this video, and you'll see a link where you can click right on my little logo there, and it'll take you directly in, and you'll subscribe. You'll also see a link to whatever our most recent video is. Sometimes it's this one, sometimes it's one you haven't seen yet. Go back, look through everything, guys. You're going to love what we're putting out there, I promise you. And before I even give my ranking, one thing I want to point out is, you know, you have Roger Ebert, who back in the day, if you don't know, Siskel and Ebert were the two most prominent film critics in the country, basically. And Roger Ebert always hated horror, and that's fine. He's not stating a fact when he says this movie isn't good, I like that, or whatever. He's stating his opinion, which he's entitled to, and that's fine. I'm not one of those people that's going to sit here and say, you hate horror, so I hate you. It's not for him. The guy doesn't like it. It's okay. It doesn't even matter why he doesn't like it. He doesn't like it. It's okay. He's paid to give his opinion, and he gives it to you. But I'm about to play a clip where even he had to admit how good this movie is. He says it's shocking, it's, you know, horrible to sit through, it's hard for this, that, and the other thing, but it gets the point across, and it's extremely well done on a very low budget. And one thing I give him credit for, too, in there is he goes, it's okay to make movies just for adults. He said everything doesn't have to be PG-13 rated where everybody can see it. You don't have to compromise on things. And I give him a lot of credit for saying that, because that's what I still believe that now. I wish there was more NC-17 movies coming out, not just for, you know, the crazy gore and this, that, and the other thing. You can make a comedy that's that way because they say some stuff that's just so messed up. It's okay to push the boundaries. Not everything has to be, a mega blockbuster and made for everybody. I like that they pushed the envelope with this. I like that they didn't compromise too much with it. They kept making cuts and trying. Then when they realized they're getting the NC-17, they're like, okay, well, we're just going to release it exactly how we want. And that's why you never really find a DVD that says uncut version, because they're all the uncut version. He just put it out there. It is what it is, and it made a ton of money. So check this out, because it's kind of Roger Ebert in rare form defending horror.
Our next movie is named Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, and wherever this film has been shown, it has shocked some people and impressed others. Even though it's been refused an R rating by the ratings board, it refuses to disappear. It's been around for 4 years. It couldn't be released originally because it couldn't get the R rating, but after playing at unrated midnight shows in Chicago and New York, it surfaced last fall at several film festivals and was taken so seriously by the critics that now it's going into limited national release, even despite the MPAA rating controversy. The film stars Michael Rooker in a performance of absolutely riveting brilliance as a flat-voiced, unemotional mass murderer who talks about his deeds almost in the abstract.
Open your eyes, Otis. Look at the world. It's either you or them. You know what I mean.
Otis is played there by Tom Tolles, whose little sister comes to visit. She's impressed by Henry's unemotional truth-telling.
I feel like I've known you forever and ever.
Yeah. I killed my mama.
The sister is played by Tracy Arnold. The strange thing about scenes like this is how impending violence seems to suggest itself beneath the surface of an apparently casual conversation.
Were you really a dancer?
I danced some in a club, and I wasn't naked. I wore a costume, but I guess it wasn't very much.
Are you going to dance for us?
Many of the scenes in this movie are really hard to take, including one where they videotape one of their home invasions. There is no doubt in my mind that Henry is a powerful and important film, brilliantly directed and acted. But why should there be a film like this, a dispassionate record of a mass murderer? Well, because there are people like this, and one of the purposes of serious films is to help us see and understand the world we live in. It's an irony that mad slasher movies like the Friday the 13th series routinely get an R rating from the MPAA and play to millions of teenagers, anyone who can find that legendary 18-year-old adult guardian to go in with them. But let an artistic film come along that really sincerely considers the subject, and it's banished by the MPAA to that ghetto between the R and the X, so that most theater chains are afraid or legally prevented from booking it. This film deserves to be seen. And you know, this must be the only civilized country on earth that doesn't believe there's such a thing as an adults-only movie, a movie that is unsuitable for people under 17. We have the R, right, which is a joke, very loosely enforced, and then everything else is allegedly hardcore pornography. There's nothing in between. And do you know why they won't pass an A rating? I'll tell you why. It's because the A rating would have to be enforced, and they would have to look at somebody holding money at the ticket counter and say, right, no, we won't take your money. And the MPAA and the theater owners are too gutless to do that, and so what we have are pictures like this being punished as a result.
Well, pretty cool to see him actually do that. It's the only example I can really find. I think he also gave a lot of credit to The Exorcist and, oh God, was it? Yeah, Silence of the Lambs, I think, was the other two, but those were more, classical type movies that had horror undertones to them. But it was neat to see him defend horror. So what am I going to rank it at? I am going to go ahead and rank Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer from 1986. Oh, that was a good year. From director John McNaughton, 4 out of 5, and very close to being 4.5 out of 5. It's the best serial killer movie you will find. It's based enough off reality that it's still shocking, but they spice it up a little bit, which is okay, but they don't try to glorify it. They don't have them get an insane body count or make them look like, heroes or anything like that. It's based enough on reality that it's shocking, well shot, did the most they could with the minuscule budget they had, amazing acting from the three mains. It's one you can definitely watch over and over again, and every single time you watch it, you will notice something else. You'll notice an extra creepy scene you missed. You'll notice an extra way someone did something. And you'll just be like, oh man, can't believe I never saw that. And different scenes will take on different tones to you as well. And it's also got a really, really good double disc release from Dark Sky Films. And on the second disc, there's a really good making of, which if I remember is about an hour and 10 minutes. Like, it's a really long, involved making of, which is good. And they have a really good Henry Lee Lucas documentary, which is also cool if you just want to know about, the reality of what happened and know more about the entire actual case. It's on there, and it's completely devoted to him, because sometimes when you watch the horror documentaries on TV, they'll do like 3 of them in a clip, and you only get 10 minutes on each. They really spend a lot of time getting into the story a little bit more, and then you can compare and contrast reality with what you saw in the movie, and you'll see a little bit of overlap, but not too much. So yeah, this is one of our higher ranking ones so far, and this is the first one into our extreme horrors. I will be adding those to the thumbnail, the extreme stamp up in the corner, so people know that these are very much going to be not for everyone reviews, loaded with trigger things. So if you see those, you'll know why. And we're also going to be taking a detour and hitting some Grindhouse movies coming up soon, guys. I keep saying that, but it's absolutely coming. I'm just getting the list and getting everything together. It takes a while to put these videos together. We don't just sit here for 10 minutes and boom, we're done. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Love you.
Welcome to horror heaven. Beautiful pain. Welcome to horror heaven.